welcome back to the channel. brettonthego here. Today we're visiting Stone Mountain, Georgia. What an incredible state park. But before we talk about the state park, let's talk about what's going on in the fall in the park. One of my favorites, one of my all-time tops is the Pumpkin Festival. Play by day and glow by night. It's a family-friendly activity and something fun to do. Also, next up is the magical flight to the North Pole, where they actually redecorate the tram. So much fun. Then there's the drone show. That's always fun during the holidays. Santa visits, fireworks, Tinkerbell. Wow, and then Christmas parade. I love the Christmas parade. Hey, don't forget to like, share, comment. I love your comments. Love to hear what you're thinking. So now that we've looked at the holidays at Stone Mountain, let's take a look at the park. Well, Stone Mountain is nestled among 3,200 acres of absolute beauty just outside of Atlanta. There is a variety of activities and family-friendly things to do. And if you're planning your next great adventure, this would be where I would plan it. So from here, let's take a look at the campgrounds. Wow, if you don't own an RV currently, well, rent an RV. See what RVing is all about. You can actually rent, I think they have about 6 of them there. And if you already have an RV, hey, this is an incredibly beautiful place to take it. 250 full or partial hookup campsites for RVs. And if you don't have an RV, how about a safari tent? They have some cool safari tents, canvas and wood framed. Let's take a look inside one. The safari tents, the locations of them also, I have to say, and you can see there's electricity outside, but they're double beds or queens, as I recall, and they are beautifully located on the lake. Well, next up would be tents. If you've got a tent, they have 125 partial hookups, water and electric, and 46, primitive sites. If that's not for you, how about a yurt? Yurt's the next best thing to a tiny home. Hey, let's go take a look at a yurt. Look at that beautiful view of Stone Mountain, and there is the tram right up there on the right-hand side. If you can just see that, we'll grab a quick photo. There we are. So if tent camping and RVing is not your style, look at this beautiful yurt. This yurt sleeps up to 8 people, solar on top, an absolutely beautiful place to stay. If you're looking for an alternative to tent camping or RVing, these yurts even have AC, and I wanted to show you that. They're beautiful. They sleep 8 to 10 people, and right down here on the side, as you can see, they all have AC. And look at that. Right behind is an absolutely beautiful view of the lake. Wow, I'm staying here tomorrow. Wow, now that we've looked at the outside, let's take a look at some of the inside photos. Wow, that is so family friendly. What a cool idea. So let's take a drive inside the park. And here is the visitor center and the check-in area. And also over on the left is where they keep the firewood, and it's a sort of a community center. Well, the park, of course, after we left, changed the way they designated the campgrounds. So right here, this is the new purple area. And the purple area is right next to the entrance and exit and the general store, the volleyball, all the activities, and the pool. And you can see that it is a really nice area. The only objection I had to this area at all was that it didn't have a view of the lake. I mean, some of these back ones did. So we decided to book in the orange area. Now the orange area is a little bit more elevated. It's a little bit further back in the park. Matter of fact, it goes all the way back to the edge of the lake. And I have to say that we had such beautiful 360-degree views of the lake, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. And here, if you look up on top of the motorhome, we even had our Starlink, which played games with the trees.
And here we are at the Daisy Comfort Station number 6. And you say comfort, Brett. What does comfort really mean? This is an incredible facility. It has showers. It has hanging flowers in the restrooms. It is an absolutely incredible place. I mean, they actually have warm showers. Wow. Comfort Station 6. Everything a camper needs to have an absolutely amazing camping experience.
Well, now that we're done with the bathroom humor, let's take a look at the campsite itself. This is the view from our site looking down onto the lake. And like I said, 360-degree view of the lake. What a beautiful afternoon. This was a really cool place to be. And you can see here they had a lot of paved trails, which are cool for walking. This is a trip back from the lake, and we actually got the Starlink up after moving the motorhome back and forth a couple times trying to get it out of the trees. Just like every other campground, there's always trees. And you can see we got the televator up there. But the sites were just beautiful. And the other thing that I noticed is that the sites were really level. Everywhere you looked, the sites were completely level, which made it, great for big coaches, small coaches, everybody. So let's take a look at some of the other sites. This is the Lime sites. So this is to the right-hand side from the entrance. And they say that they have rebuilt most of the sites in the park, but the right-hand side of the park is completely unrefurbished. And you can see by the holes in the asphalt and so forth. So we go one more area over and we are in the red area. And the red again is about the same as the lime. They call it somewhat primitive, I guess. But one thing that we did notice here in the red was that these sites, even though they weren't as maintained as the center section, that there were some sites that literally backed right out onto the lake. So as we go around the corner here, you'll see that the lake is literally right here. You could take your paddleboard right out or your raft right out onto the lake right here. And yes, it was, not as well maintained, but they all still had sewer power and electric, which was, really nice to have. All right, let's talk about things to do. My favorite thing. Usually we talk about things to do in reference to things outside of the park. And I have to say that there were so many things inside the park that you really had no need to leave. This was super cool on the main lawn. This was a video, light, and drone show. They had it every night from the end of May through the beginning of August, unless they get a heavy freeze. But boy, it was, I have to say, they shined it right there on the mountain, and the pictures were just incredible. The resolution was great. It wasn't too dark, and they complemented it by fireworks. And then there's the drone show. The drone shows are getting to be extremely popular everywhere you go. We were in Dollywood a few weeks prior to this, and Dollywood had also another 300 or 400 drone show, which was, really cool to see. So I have to say, Stone Mountain is completely underrated. If you're going to go somewhere and have a really good time in the east, put Stone Mountain on your list. So let's talk about some of the other great things that are totally underrated at Stone Mountain, and that's golf. They had some beautiful golf courses. They had 2 specific courses that were built and designed in the early 60s. One was the Lakemont course, and the other was the Stonemont course. Now, we always got the drones, so we thought we'd take a quick flyby. The greens were in absolutely excellent shape. The fairways were in excellent shape. It was a little bit overcast this particular afternoon. And most of them all played along some water, some around the main lake and some around just some different waterways that run. You can see. Now there were a couple ways to climb the mountain, get around the mountain, see the mountain, and this is the train. We thought the train would be fun. Right there's the climbing path to climb to the top of the mountain, which if you're in great shape, that's a great afternoon walk. You know, and what would a train be without a train show? So back here in the back, this was sort of a surprise to us. It was kind of fun. All the kids enjoyed it. But they had a neat little show right here on the very back side of the mountain. And the train was, you know, a lot of fun. It wasn't very busy it was actually 4th of July weekend, which surprised me that it wasn't so busy. Now, when you're done with the tram and the train and everything else, head to the park. Inside the center of the park is they have a climbing area. This was really wicked cool. And a rope course. They also had Geyser, which was a water park, which the kids really loved. And, you know, it was a hot afternoon. It was, the beginning of July. It was cool. The other thing I want to mention that's outside of the park was the Porsche driving experience. Porsche has a really cool museum in Atlanta, and to take a demonstration lap was $100. It was a really cool place. Remember, it's closed on the weekends. So back to the park again. Look at this main lawn. This is where the firework and drone show is held. And as you can see, it'll seat a couple thousand people in there. Bring your chair, bring your snacks, and in the evening you can sit. So what would the whole thing be without the Summit Sky Ride? Wow, this is what takes you up to the beautiful top of Stone Mountain. And from there you can see, I think 3 cities, I can't remember, but it's absolutely beautiful up on top of Stone Mountain. So my filming on the way up was garbage, so let's take some film. Look at that view. Absolutely beautiful. Now we got an all-day pass, which was probably the smarter thing to do because we went up the tram twice that day. Because in the morning, it was actually overcast. So you couldn't even see the top of the mountain, but we went up anyway, and it was just foggy. Here it is going down. What an absolutely beautiful, picturesque view of this stone face. Yes, we love Stone Mountain. I can tell you that on our next trip east, we're going to go do Stone Mountain all over again. But here's the tram on the way down. What an absolutely beautiful sight. And what would a state park be without bike paths? You know, sometimes we get in state parks and they really don't emphasize or focus much on state parks. Well, that's not the case here because they have 10 miles of paved road to enjoy. And on this afternoon, we rode the 5-mile loop, which ends up back at the campground. I can't tell you, it was just absolutely beautiful. And you know, you're sharing the road. We have bike paths and you have streets. Oh, hey, there are those yurts again. I love the yurts. I made such fun of them, but I gotta say, I finally got inside of one of them myself, and I've never stayed in a yurt. I know that's sad to say. I've hardly ever stayed in a tent, but they were pretty cool and very family friendly. Bunk beds and, you know, very spacious. I was surprised. And, you know, again, the air conditioning. They have air conditioning, which tells you, you know, it's July. It was 100 and something, or not quite 100, and it was humid. But you can see as we start out on the bike journey here today, the lake seems to be all around everywhere that you're riding. You know, so when you look at state parks, we look at a lot of things. There's one of their master sites right there on the right. That master site's a pull through, and it's 100-footer, which is the biggest of all their sites. I think they only have one of them, but it was really beautiful. Here we come. We're coming right upon the entrance to the park, and down the road we go. Now, the speed limit inside the park, like every other state park, is 25 miles an hour. So, you don't have much of a fight between cars and bicycles. And like I said, there's a lot of just paths. The other thing that we found about halfway on our bike path was this covered bridge. Not only did I enjoy flying it with my drone and flying over cars that were inside the bridge, but I loved the bridges and the whole absolute beautiful park. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So, and a lot of the bike path, as I said before, was going around the river, there are a couple rivers in there, and around the lakes. So, all I can tell you is that if you have an opportunity to go to Atlanta, visit Stone Mountain. It's one of the most beautiful state parks I've ever been in. We'll see you again soon. Brett on the Go. Thanks for watching. No, really, thanks for watching.